The calm before the storm captain, Elena Vasquez, stood in the observation lounge of Kepler Station, watching the golden sunrise paint the surface of Arcturus Prime in warm amber light. The mining colonies stretched across 3 continents below, their industrial complexes gleaming like scattered jewels against the planet's rust-colored terrain. Home to nearly 2 million souls, Arcturus Prime had become humanity's most successful deep space settlement. Rich in rare minerals that powered Earth's expanding fleet, the morning shift change was beginning across the orbital facilities. Cargo. Haulers moved between the massive refinery platforms, their holds packed with processed titanium and quantum crystals. Elena sipped her coffee and reviewed the daily production reports on her tablet. Everything was running smoothly, just as it had for the past 3 years since she'd taken command of the station. Dr. Marcus Chun hurried into the observation lounge, his usually calm demeanor replaced by obvious excitement. The chief scientist carried a data pad covered in complex readings that made Elena's head spin just looking at them. Marcus had been studying the system's outer asteroid belt, searching for new mineral deposits that could extend the colony's profitable operations. "Captain, you need to see these sensor readings," Marcus said, setting his pad on the table between them. "We're detecting some unusual energy patterns near the system's edge. The signatures are unlike anything in our databases." Elena frowned as she studied the swirling patterns on the screen. The readings showed massive energy discharges occurring in seemingly empty space, far beyond the orbit of the system's outermost planet. Her first thought was solar activity, but their star was a stable main sequence type with predictable behavior patterns. Could it be a natural phenomenon? She asked, though something in Marcus's expression suggested otherwise. "That's what I thought initially, but the patterns are too organized, too structured. Whatever's causing these readings, it's artificial in origin." Marcus pulled up additional screens, showing energy cascade patterns that looked almost like technological signatures. "Captain, I think something big is coming out of hyperspace." Before Elena could respond, the station's communication system crackled to life. Lieutenant Sarah Brooks' voice echoed through the lounge with barely controlled urgency. "Captain Vasquez to the command center immediately. We have multiple contacts emerging at the system perimeter." Elena and Marcus rushed through the stations corridors as emergency lights began flashing amber throughout the facility. The command center buzzed with activity as technicians worked frantically at their stations. Sarah stood at the main tactical display, her face pale as she watched dozens of contacts materializing in the outer system. "Report," Elena ordered, taking her position at the central command console. "Ma'am, we have over 200 vessels dropping out of hyperspace simultaneously. Energy signatures are massive, bigger than anything in our fleet registry." Sarah's fingers danced across her controls, trying to establish communication protocols. "They're not responding to standard hailing frequencies." Colonel James Mitchell, the station's defense coordinator, stepped forward with grim determination. His weathered face showed the strain of a career soldier who had never expected to face this scenario. "Captain, those ships don't match any known human or alien designs in our databases. Their configuration suggests hostile intent." Elena studied the tactical display as more contacts continued appearing. The vessels moved in perfect formation, their energy signatures unlike anything she had seen before. Each ship appeared to be constructed from organic materials that pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. They looked less like spacecraft and more like massive sea creatures swimming through the void. "Have we established any communication?" Elena asked, though she feared the answer. "Negative, Captain. They're maintaining radio silence and approaching the inner system at high velocity." Sarah's voice carried the weight of growing dread. "Estimated time to Arcturus Prime orbit is 6 hours." The realization hit Elena like a physical blow. 6 hours to evacuate nearly 2 million people from the surface. With limited transport capacity, and an unknown alien force bearing down on them. She activated the station-wide communication system, her voice steady despite the chaos erupting around them. All personnel, this is Captain Vasquez. We are implementing Emergency Protocol 7 immediately. All civilian vessels are to begin evacuation procedures for essential personnel only. This is not a drill. Down on Arcturus Prime's surface mining, Supervisor Rachel Torres was inspecting the morning shift at Processing Plant Delta when the evacuation sirens began wailing across New Olympia, the planet's capital city. She had been working the asteroid mining operations for 15 years and had never heard those particular alarms outside of safety drills. Her communication device crackled with urgent messages from the Planetary Evacuation Authority. The voice was calm but carried unmistakable urgency as it announced the systematic evacuation of all surface installations. Priority would be given to essential personnel and their families, but transport capacity was severely limited. Rachel looked up at the morning sky, where she could barely make out the distant gleam of Kepler Station. Somewhere beyond that, an alien fleet was approaching with unknown intentions. She gathered her shift supervisors and began implementing evacuation protocols. They had hoped never to use. Back aboard Kepler Station, Colonel Mitchell was coordinating with the system's modest defense fleet. 3 frigates and 4 destroyers represented the entirety of Arcturus Prime's military protection, designed more for anti-piracy operations than defending against a major alien incursion. Admiral Chun on the destroyer USS Defiant reports his task force is moving to intercept, Mitchell announced. But Captain, our ships were never designed to handle this scale of engagement. Elena nodded grimly. She understood the tactical situation better than she wanted to. The approaching alien fleet outnumbered their defenders by more than 20 to 1, and their ships appeared significantly larger than humanity's finest warships. Dr. Marcus Chun continued analyzing the alien vessel's energy signatures from his laboratory aboard the station. The readings defied conventional understanding of spacecraft design. The ships seemed to generate their own power through biological processes, their hulls appearing to breathe like living organisms. Captain, these aren't ships in any sense we understand, Marcus reported over the intercom. They're more like spacefaring creatures, possibly bred or engineered for combat. Their weapon systems appear to be integrated into their biological structure. The first engagement occurred 4 hours ahead of schedule when Admiral Chan's task force encountered alien scout vessels near the system's middle planets. The brief battle was visible on long-range sensors as brilliant flashes of light that faded too quickly. Sarah's voice trembled as she delivered the tactical update. Contact lost with the destroyer USS Defiant and frigate USS Courage. The USS Vigilant is reporting heavy damage and requesting immediate assistance. Elena closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of command settle on her shoulders like a heavy cloak. 2 ships and nearly 1,000 crew members had been lost in minutes against an enemy they barely understood. The remaining defense vessels were falling back toward Arcturus Prime, buying precious time for the evacuation efforts. The alien fleet continued its methodical advance, their bioships moving through space with predatory grace. Long-range sensors showed them deploying smaller vessels that swarmed around the larger craft like parasitic organisms. These fighter analogs moved with impossible agility, defying conventional physics in their maneuvers. Captain, we're receiving distress calls from civilian transports attempting to flee the system, Sarah reported. The alien fighters are intercepting them before they can reach hyperspace jump points. Elena watched the tactical display as read. Icons representing civilian vessels winked out one by one. Each disappearing light represented hundreds of lives lost to an enemy that showed no interest in communication or mercy. The aliens seemed determined to prevent any escape from the system. Colonel Mitchell activated the station's defensive systems. though everyone knew they were inadequate against the approaching threat. Point defense lasers and missile batteries, designed to handle asteroids and pirates, would be useless against creatures that had easily destroyed military warships. "Ma'am, I'm detecting a massive energy signature building at the edge of the system," Sarah announced suddenly. "It's even larger than the alien fleet's combined readings." Elena looked at her tactical officer, with hope beginning to kindle in her chest. "Another alien fleet?" "Negative, Captain. The signature is consistent with human hyperspace technology, but the scale is unprecedented." Sarah's voice carried growing excitement. "Ma'am, something enormous is about to drop out of hyperspace." Dr. Marcus Chun confirmed the readings from his laboratory, his voice filled with amazement. "Captain, the energy signature suggests a vessel nearly 2 kilometers in length. That's larger than anything in Earth's known fleet registry." The fabric of space itself seemed to tear apart as the largest spacecraft ever constructed by human hands burst from hyperspace like an avenging angel. The Oon's Titan's Wrath stretched across the void, its hull gleaming with adaptive armor that shifted and flowed like liquid metal. Weapon arrays ran along its spine like the vertebrae of some mechanical dragon. Elena stared at the massive vessel on her tactical display, hardly believing what she was seeing. Earth Command had kept the existence of their new Dreadnought class. Vessels completely classified, even from frontier commanders like herself. The ship represented humanity's answer to the growing alien threat, built in secret shipyards throughout the solar system. "All stations, this is Admiral Rebecca Stone aboard the Eon's Titan's Wrath," came a calm voice over the communication channels. "We are here to render assistance. All human vessels maintain current positions and prepare for combat operations." The alien biofleet suddenly halted its advance, their organic hulls pulsing with rapid bioluminescent patterns that suggested urgent communication between vessels. For the first time since their arrival, the aliens seemed uncertain, perhaps even concerned about this new development. Elena felt something she had almost forgotten surge through her chest. For the first time in hours, humanity had a fighting chance. The Dreadnought's arrival, Admiral Rebecca Stone, stood on the bridge of the UNE's Titan's Wrath, surrounded by the most advanced technology humanity had ever developed. The massive Dreadnought represented 3 years of secret construction and the combined scientific knowledge of greatest minds. She had trained for this moment since the first reports of alien hostility reached Earth Command. The bridge buzzed with controlled activity as her crew prepared for combat operations. Commander Alex Rivera manned the weapons console, his fingers dancing across controls that managed firepower capable of cracking planets. Chief Engineer David Park monitored the ship's revolutionary power systems from his position at the engineering station. "Admiral, sensors show the alien fleet consists of 237 vessels," Rivera reported. "They appear to be biomechanical in nature, with weapon systems integrated into their organic structure." Stone studied the tactical hologram that filled the center of the bridge. The alien ships looked like nightmare creatures pulled from humanity's darkest imagination, all curves and flowing surfaces that pulsed with malevolent life. They had arranged themselves in a complex formation around Arcturus Prime, cutting off escape routes while methodically destroying human resistance. "Engineering. Status report on all systems," Stone commanded. "All systems operating at peak efficiency, Admiral," David Park replied. "Quantum reactors are stable, and the new graviton beam arrays are fully charged. Adaptive armor is responding normally to threat assessment protocols." Stone nodded, satisfied that her ship was ready for the battle ahead. The Titan's Wrath represented humanity's evolutionary leap in spacecraft design, incorporating technologies reverse-engineered from captured alien artifacts and theoretical advances in quantum physics. Communications. Establish contact with the local defense coordinator. Stone ordered. Captain Elena Vasquez's image appeared on the main view screen, relief evident in her expression despite the desperate situation. "Admiral Stone, thank God you're here. We've lost most of our defense fleet, and the evacuation is behind schedule." "Understood, Captain. We'll buy you the time you need." Stone's voice carried the confidence of someone who had spent years preparing for exactly this scenario. "What's the status of your civilian population?" "Approximately 400,000 have been evacuated, but we still have over 1 million people on the surface. The alien fighters are intercepting our transport ships faster than we can launch them." Stone turned to her tactical officer. "Commander Rivera, identify priority targets in the alien formation. Focus on vessels intercepting civilian transports." The Titan's Wrath began its attack run, accelerating toward the alien fleet with surprising grace for such a massive vessel. The ship's adaptive armor shifted color to match the surrounding space, making it difficult for enemy sensors to maintain target locks. The alien bioships responded to this new threat by repositioning themselves into a defensive formation. Their organic hulls pulsed with increasingly rapid bioluminescent patterns, suggesting complex communication between vessels. Some of the larger creatures began moving to intercept the human dreadnought. "Admiral, the aliens are launching fighter analogs," Rivera reported. "Sensors show approximately 3,000 small craft approaching our position." Stone watched the tactical display as swarms of organic fighters detached from the larger bioships. These creatures moved through space like schools of predatory fish, their movements coordinated by some form of hive intelligence. "Activate point defense systems and prepare for close engagement," Stone commanded. "All batteries, fire at will." The Titan's Wrath erupted in controlled violence as its weapon systems came online. Dozens of laser turrets tracked the approaching alien fighters, their beams creating a deadly web of energy around the ship. Missile batteries launched volleys of smart munitions that sought their targets with relentless determination. The alien fighters proved surprisingly agile, weaving through the defensive fire with organic grace. However, humanity's weapons had been designed with their capabilities in mind. Proximity-fused warheads detonated in clusters, catching multiple targets in overlapping blast patterns. Commander Rivera initiated the main battery sequence, targeting the largest bioship in the alien formation. The graviton beam arrays charged, with a deep harmonic vibration that resonated through the ship's hull, building to levels that warped space itself around the weapon emitters. Main batteries locked on target, Rivera announced. "Graviton beams ready to fire." "Fire," Stone commanded simply. 6 concentrated beams of gravitational energy lanced across space, bending light around them as they traveled toward their target. When they struck the massive bioship, the effect was immediate and devastating. The alien vessel's organic hull began collapsing in on itself as localized. Gravity fields tore it apart at the molecular level. The destruction of their largest vessel sent shockwaves through the alien fleet. The remaining bioships began regrouping, their bioluminescent patterns shifting to angry reds and oranges. They had clearly never encountered technology capable of threatening their most powerful units. Chief Engineer Park reported from his station. "Admiral, the graviton arrays performed within acceptable parameters. We can maintain this rate of fire for extended engagement." The alien response came in the form of concentrated bioenergy weapons that struck the Titan's Wrath like living lightning. The ship's adaptive armor absorbed most of the damage, but the alien weapons carried an unusual quality that seemed to eat away at the protective coating. "Hull integrity at 92%, Park reported. "The alien weapons appear to have some form of corrosive component. Armor regeneration systems are compensating." Stone ordered evasive maneuvers as more bioships converged on their position. The Titan's Wrath danced through space with impossible grace for such a large vessel. its inertial compensation systems allowing the crew to maintain their positions. Despite violent acceleration changes, Commander Rivera switched to rotational fire pattern. "Keep them guessing about our next target," Stone commanded. The dreadnought's weapons began targeting bioships throughout the alien formation, preventing them from coordinating their attacks effectively. Each graviton beam strike eliminated another enemy vessel, their organic hulls unable to withstand the localized gravitational collapse. Meanwhile, Captain Vasquez coordinated the evacuation efforts from Kepler Station. The appearance of the Titan's Wrath had drawn alien attention away from civilian transports, allowing more ships to escape toward hyperspace jump points. "Admiral Stone, this is Captain Vasquez." Elena's voice came over the communication channel. "The evacuation rate has increased significantly. Your attack is giving us the breathing room we needed." "Understood, Captain. We'll maintain pressure on the alien fleet," Stone replied while directing her ship through another series of evasive maneuvers. The battle raged for over an hour as the Titan's Wrath systematically dismantled the alien formation. Humanity's technological superiority was evident in every exchange, with the dreadnought's advanced weapons proving devastatingly effective against biomechanical targets. Dr. Marcus Chun, monitoring the battle from Kepler Station, made an important discovery about the alien fleet's behavior patterns. "Admiral Stone, I'm detecting centralized command signals originating from a bioship in the formation center. If you can eliminate that vessel, it should disrupt their coordination." Stone acknowledged the information and directed Rivera to target the command vessel. The bioship was smaller than the others, but surrounded by a protective formation of fighter craft and escort vessels. "All batteries concentrate fire on the command ship," Stone ordered. "Break through their defensive screen." The Titan's Wrath unleashed its full arsenal against the alien command structure. Graviton beams tore through escort vessels, while missile salvos overwhelmed the fighter screen. The concentrated firepower carved a path directly to the central bioship. When the graviton beams struck the command vessel, the effect on the alien fleet was immediate and dramatic. The coordinated movement ceased, replaced by confused milling as individual bioships lost their centralized guidance. Some vessels began attacking each other, their organic programming unable to distinguish friend from foe without command direction. "Admiral, the alien fleet is breaking formation," Rivera reported with satisfaction. "They appear to have lost all coordination." Stone watched as the remaining bioships began retreating toward the system's edge, their bioluminescent patterns now dim and erratic. The battle was won, but the cost in human lives had been severe. "All stations, this is Admiral Stone. The alien threat has been neutralized. Resume normal evacuation procedures for any remaining civilians." Captain Vasquez's voice carried profound relief as she responded. "Admiral, on behalf of everyone at Arcturus Prime, thank you. You saved us all." As the Titan's Wrath settled into orbit around the mining world, Admiral Stone reflected on the battle's significance. Humanity had faced its first major alien invasion and emerged victorious through ingenuity, determination, and technological superiority. The Dreadnought program had proven its worth, but more importantly, it had demonstrated that humans would not go quietly into the darkness. The evacuation continued for several more hours, with the Titan's Wrath providing security as civilian transports completed their missions. Nearly 2 million people had been saved through the combined efforts of brave crews and advanced technology. Colonel Mitchell coordinated the recovery of survivors from damaged defense vessels, while Dr. Marcus Chun began studying wreckage from destroyed bioships. Each piece of alien technology represented an opportunity to better understand their enemies and improve humanity's defenses. As Arcturus Prime's orange sun set behind the planet's horizon, Admiral Stone knew this victory was only the beginning. The aliens would return with better preparation and larger fleets. But humanity would be ready, armed with determination, ingenuity, and the finest technology their species could create. The Titan's wrath had proven that Earth's children would not be easy prey. When faced with extinction, humans had responded with innovation and courage that turned certain defeat into decisive victory. This was the spirit that would carry humanity to the stars and beyond, no matter what challenges awaited in the cosmic dark. Asterisk.